Welcome back to It Takes Two. So yeah, let's get our audience.
But we're here already.
No, not you. A bigger audience. Unfortunately, to have five people is not really enough for a concert for an audience.
Oh, but how about an arcade match for a bit?
Track runner.
Why not?
Track runner.
All right, so here's what this is.
Oh no, we've been beamed into the video game.
Oh no, it's Tron.
VR Troopers.
So is it?
Not enough
So
Daft
is it-
Punk.
So is it exciting Tron or boring Tron, Dej?
Yeah, the
Kingdom
uniforms
Hearts
do.
2 Tron.
The uniforms really do look like the one of Tron.
Well, Jova, this isn't the first movie, so it's exciting, Tron.
Oh,
So yeah,
Okay.
basically it's an obstacle course.
Yeah, I said it.
I've never seen the first Tron movie. I saw Legacy, and then I thought this is boring.
Yes, Tia?
Yes, Tia?
no, I first of all, I like the details of the uniforms do resemble the one of Tron. But since, I think Dejimon mentioned Kira's too, well, I kind of like the Space Paranoids battle theme. There is that.
And
It looks like Tron mixed with Beat Saber. It's weird.
Mhm.
there we are.
Yeah.
It was close, but I won.
Where's the Shrek challenge?
All right, with that done. Ooh, flamingo. All right.
Oh,
Neon Flamingo.
Don't make bragging a habit.
For a game like this, I wonder if gathering the audience is oh no, it's these people. Okay, I thought the game would have.
Glow sticks?
I thought the game would have.
This is
a nice
starting
touch,
to this is starting to remind me of dreams.
Oh, you're not on the list.
Sorry, kids. No minors.
And I recognize that voice. The stick is voiced by the same guy who voiced Leo.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Excuse me, we are adults.
God damn.
Yeah,
They literally left it at home. So
Well, technically, aren't we in their home?
Get with me. Doctor Hakim, my bro.
no, that doesn't count either. I work in retail. This does not fly.
Dwebs,
Okay.
Dwebs, are you really expecting this magical fantasy world to work like the real one? Come on, Dwebs.
Well, that's the thing. That half the time it has been working like the real world.
Not really. But whatever.
No, wait. Haven't you ever seen a movie before where people want to get into a club and then
Whoa.
someone says
Rainbow Road? What the hell?
Yes.
Oh my god, it is really Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road? Why?
They even have
I don't want to be here anymore.
it even has its own Mario Kart style.
Rainbow Road is pretty.
All too bad, Shiri.
It's
Now
pretty, but it's shit.
here's a blue shell for you.
How dare you?
Wait, no, seriously. I know you're not dissing N64 Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 8 in my house.
I'm dissing Rainbow Road in general.
How dare you?
Well, then you have
Come at
no
me.
soul.
Oh my god, he even drops you down like the
Wow, I
flying
can't
Larry
believe
Cooper.
Shiori made her first miss.
Also, I was hoping that gathering the audience for, I guess this is like we're close to the end at least. I was hoping that gathering the audience would have represented for each of the worlds, quote unquote, that you visited. But I'm guessing they're not doing that.
You'll see too.
Just because I'm gay doesn't
Okay.
mean I'm obligated to like this shit.
What? Wait, what? No.
Nobody was even saying it like that.
What?
Also,
I'll tell
but-
you when you're older, Dej.
But yeah, it literally.
Yes, I know what the LGBTQ symbol is.
Also,
Did you know that it was originally an upside down triangle?
Yeah, you even have the speed up bumps exactly
Yeah.
like in
This is
Rainbow Road.
this is obviously an homage to Mario Kart. Yeah.
It's cute.
There you go.
Admittedly, this is actually a very cute reference.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Oh my god, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Final chase.
Also, the music's fun.
Yeah, although
They-
the composer
again,
having a blast. I
Again,
guess.
again too. They really wanted
Somebody
a.
had fun in the visuals.
Oh, no,
for this
yeah.
level.
Like I said, it's like I always say in this commentary, Joe. If somebody really wanted a Rainbow Run,
Oh.
Now
homage.
it's, what's that stage in Mario
Now it's
Kart 8?
Electrodome.
Yeah.
Electrodome.
There you go.
So this is how you get in here. Wait, it literally is Electrodome, complete with the soundtrack.
Exactly.
You should just put the music here, Pedro.
Usually when I add in music, it's for the purpose of a joke.
Yeah, this would have been perfect.
I like the music that's playing.
God damn it.
It's not the best track of the game, but it's good.
This entire game has just been a compilation of all the games Joseph likes.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty
Like,
much.
you can, but
You know,
like I said, Shiroi.
their playlist going on again. This is Joseph, gaming, favorite
Yeah.
gaming playlist.
Gaming in the Ferris years.
Like I said, Shiroi, I still believe that Ferris did the same thing Kojima did in Metal Gear Solid 2. He probably turned to the entire team. Okay, guys, put all your ideas for cool levels and set pieces in this hat, and I will review them to see if they're cool enough to be in the game and stuff like that. So I really get the idea that the whole team pitched in for ideas, because there's just so much creativity in this that it's just like, yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Let me just.
A game everyone hated it first.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, that's the thing, Dwibs. The commentary of Metal Gear Solid 2 became 100 times more relevant 10 years later. So.
And again, both MGS4 and Rising gave Raiden a much better, reputation.
Yeah.
Also, seriously, screw Rose.
Definitely.
Raiden was already.
Although to be fair, there is one particular thing about Rose in that game that I can't say because of spoilers, Jova. But let's just say there's one particular detail that we have to take into account about that. But I cannot talk about
Do
it.
you know what the date is?
I know about that extra detail, but I'm sorry, Rose just was annoying in Metal Gear Solid 2 more than anything.
Also, that yes, I know it's the date of get the hell off my back.
Look, guys, it's a disco ball.
But how
let's
to
smash
it
it.
down?
Yes. Well, the idea is to bring
at
it.
the same time.
The idea is to bring
We
it.
can really get this party started.
Literally. Oh, trust me, Jova. You're completely right on that. There you go. And now, there we go. Because why the fuck not?
Balling.
Man,
After,
Joseph, you're on a roll today.
after a while the lights get a bit much, but this stage looks really cool, so I kind of care less about that.
So Steroid's having a ball.
That reminds me, speaking of Beast Turboscopic, out of curiosity, since it might be a game that you might interest you, Shiro, have you tried Everhood?
I haven't heard of that one, actually.
Can those blue holes kill you, by the way?
I think so, that's why they're obstacles. I'm mentioning here mostly because, again, it's similar to this particular final level. It has a lot of psychedelic imagery, actually, a lot more. So I'm not sure if it's the right game for you, Shiri, but it's interesting to at least give it a look.
What's it called?
Everhood. It's
Okay.
very similar to a lot of things to Undertale, but I'm gonna stop at that.
Sure.
Oh crap. So the idea is that we're supposed don't jump on the don't touch the blue spots because they hurt you.
Also, literal disco track to go with this disco ball.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
yeah, I think my best way to describe Metal Gear Solid 2, it's not necessarily a bad game, but it's definitely one of Kojima's adventures where I feel like he let his weirdness factor get the better of him.
That's the thing. I don't know, Joe, but that's usually what people say at 5, and rather like 2 nowadays is regarded as a masterpiece by most people.
Exactly. Back then it wasn't well liked because you weren't playing a snake. But now,
Okay. No. That's kind of a gross oversimplification of it. It wasn't just not getting able to be played as Snake, but it's like Metal Gear Solid 2 went just a little bit crazy. And yes, even compared to Metal Gear as it were, because we went from, this Metal Gear is very threatening to suddenly taking down a mass army of Metal Gears. Just what
hello.
the hell?
Look at that.
An entire room full of glow sticks.
So basically, Jova, your main. So basically, Jova, your main complaint is the scale of threat just upscale so much that no future game could match it.
Not really. Four. It took it even further in terms of scale.
Okay. No, that's not exactly the point. It's like, well, Metal Gear Solid 2 has a lot of its cracks here and there. It's not bad, but I still don't consider it one of Kojima's strongest stuff. And from what I've seen, a lot of people. Oh, please, no. Wait, don't you get it?
Guy, are you supposed to be helping you, Wanker?
Wait, don't you get it, guys? It's because we're close to the bookend of the plot.
Can spontaneous Butte burst through the wall and squash him?
If only. If only.
So, DJ
dance
minigame.
party.
Figure out this DJ thing.
Sure, we can make them dance again.
I'm never
We're
gonna
getting-
dance again.
We're getting a rhythm game now?
Yeah.
Hard to tell. So, is this like a complete freestyle session?
Pedro?
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, like we were asking, is this a freestyle session?
Yeah, basically. Well, it's exactly what you think. Look at that. Rhythm game, kind of.
And there you go. But yeah, Node was like, well, it's not really a simple bout of, oh, MGS2 just sucks because it didn't have Snake or whatnot. No, MGS2 just felt like it was maybe going a little too extra things.
I didn't say that.
You did say it earlier that
No,
like,
I
well,
said-
it's like,
no,
oh,
I
because it didn't have Snake.
No, I said,
That
I
was
said
me, Jova.
Yeah, apparently
Anyway,
you're
can
the
I-
same person now.
And yeah, we also have to tune in. We also have to play the EJ.
What I said, Joe, was that part of the reason you weren't fond of that game that much was because the scale of the threat jumped too high too early?
It's not necessarily that. It's more like in a
Can I
sense like,
try to-
well, it felt like,
Hold on, Jova.
yes,
Yes,
Pedro, go on.
Cutscene.
The audience is all warmed up and ready for your concert. Come on, let's go.
Well, again, we still got the book not really being much in the way of
What? It's that Mario Party free minigame.
Huh.
I swear I played a game like this at some point.
Yeah, I can't think of anything at the moment. Maybe F-Zero GX with the tubes.
Yes.
Let me guess, if you touch the red bits, you'll get damaged.
Tried.
This is one really unsafe club. But it's the Hogwarts equivalent of nightclubs.
That explains a lot, actually. Actually, maybe this is one of the books from the forbidden area of the library.
Yeah, they don't want their students reading it, otherwise if they read it in the book, it'll come to life in the real world. Or something to that extent.
I'm sorry, were you talking about Jemon? Oh my god, this is so amazing!
Reading cursed books.
What is happening right now?
Is this
We're tripping right now. We're tripping balls, Shiro. That's what's going on.
Paris is on drugs.
Again?
Yeah.
And thus they found
now they're
love
getting
for each other
closer.
again.
I'm gonna be sick.
So, wait. Was the guy's plan to get them high this entire time, and then they realized, hey, May, you're so beautiful.
And there we are. We got our audience.
We're not here for a concert, we're here to dance at a nightclub.
Well, can't you do both?
Oh?
No, this wasn't advertised.
What do you mean it wasn't? It totally was.
Probably Doctor Hakim probably did it off screen.
Exactly. Not to mention that's okay. They seem to be excited for it. All right, and here you go. Here's there you go. She even gets her own chamber before the concert and everything with the mirror and everything.
audience for ages.
Mate, it'll be fine. Just think of them all in their underwear. Yes, that would make you.
That never works.
Cody, let's go prep the stage.
Have you tried?
Yes, it makes you laugh instead.
Hey,
Really?
wait, Theo, it's better to laugh than to be nervous.
True that. Also, I'm curious, what stage production were you in when
Well,
that
not
happened?
stage,
with you?
having any kind of speech in front of a crowd.
So, what speech did you have to give when that happened?
Like, one that was an event where I was supposed to talk.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
It's your big moment because this is the grand finale of the game, I suppose.
Here's one benefit of being visually impaired: you can't see your audience.
Well, what's the whole idea, Joe? It's for her to rediscover her passion that she abandoned a long time ago. That's kind of the point.
Oh, I get this. It's just that I find it weird that, the grand finale lesson for them on their therapy is mainly something that seems to be macing as opposed to, okay.
Well, we already went for
that's gonna
Cody's
fight-
passion, so.
No, hold on. Let me finish. You think that something that would have been the grand finale for their therapy would have been something that was completely twofold on their part, as opposed to something that focuses on mainly just one of them in this regard. I'm not saying that this is a bad chapter. I'm just saying it's weird that this is the final one instead of something that, is something that focuses on the two equally.
But we don't know if there's going to be something after that happens.
Well, there actually is. Cody will. How about this, Joe? Cody will join at the end of the performance, but I will not tell you more.
Pedro,
Yes, she right.
we're singing a song to get over a major issue that shouldn't require singing.
Did you see that Disney movie before?
I'm sorry,
Singing solves all your problems.
I don't think I get your reference, Shuri. What are you referencing?
I think it's a Swan Princess movie.
Oh, that. Okay. How about this? I will say this. Swan Princess 5 does it just as badly with the in movie 5 as they do here with the Cutie the elephant thing, I will argue. But I'm not going to go into a rant about that.
Poor Blook, classic children's story.
But I assume Swan Princess isn't good.
Okay,
they're not. The first one is mediocre at best.
I want to hear Pedro, not you.
The first one is mediocre
no
at best.
surprise there.
The first one is mediocre at best, and it all goes downhill from there.
Let me guess. You think that Pedro is more honest than me in that regard?
No, he
right?
just asked Perry in the first place, Drova.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't ask anyone in particular then before.
Anyway.
Now he's nitpicking.
Wow, words of encouragement from you.
Well, to be fair, Shira, he did. Well, to be fair, Shira, he did say earlier. We talked over it, but he was like, she was like, look, how can I'm not gonna it needs to be perfect and everything.
Poor child hasn't even called the police yet.
She has to get ready for school.
Was Rosie about to run away from home or something, or was she going somewhere?
Yeah,
That's also true.
Yeah, she's gonna try and run away from home. Yeah, because she thinks that the divorce is all her fault. So, No, but sure. Remember, we talked over it. But Doctor Hakim even said earlier when she was all like, "I can't sing. I don't think I can be perfect." And you're like, "Well, you weren't born to be perfect. You were born to be you." So, to be fair, he has had his few good lines. There are not many, but they're and they're far and few in between. But they're out there.
Oh no, he's definitely been better in the second half.
She leaves her the record player.
You can listen to it when you feel better.
Live in America and your accent's British.
Mother's British.
Well, remember, Dribs, Rose is half Brit, half American, because Cody's American and May's a Brit.
Although I will admit, it is a bit weird that she got a British accent while living in America. Like, accents aren't necessarily, genetic.
I guess it depends on how she was raised. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know some people who were born in America, but because of how they were race around in this particular neighborhood or their household, they develop an accent.
So,
Their
is
parents
it just a cutscenes, or do you actually have like a Riven game?
No, this is actually well, it's a cutscene for most of it, but then there's an interactive moment at the end of it.
What is the audience? A bunch of sentient hooks?
Glow sticks. So
They're
Glow sticks from parties, dudes.
again, I think it's a missed opportunity, but it's not representative of each of the previous worlds.
That is a
Yeah.
shame.
Kind of like in Mario, Mario Odyssey.
The power of song compels you to fly.
Well, it's not like
Oh,
this
she
is
had
different.
some Red Bull to help her nerves.
Maybe she's
Yes.
well, remember, Jova. Fly, May. Just believe, and you can do it. See?
Maybe Shuri was onto something with the Red Bull.
What film are you referencing?
Actually, I'm referencing Kingdom Hearts 1. There's a moment in Kingdom Hearts 1 where Sora's about to fall, and he remembers Peter Pan's words about how you fly. So
Oh, Peter Pan's a dangerous dick.
true, true.
Just believe, as if it's that simple.
If it's any consolation, you get to teach Pan a lesson in Birth Before Sleep.
Bye.
Oh, and there you go.
As a
Now both of us-
wave goodbye to Peter Pan.
Press
Press
triangle to hold.
Now both of us hold triangle. Yeah.
What about circle?
Who needs well, Dwibs. The circle button is to slide.
I think that the respective dorsal, controllers, part of the controller might have worked better. Like one is R1 and the other L1.
Oh,
And
sparks
fireworks,
literally
of course.
fly.
We can't dance to this.
We're missing a flying motorcycle, though, Pedro.
No, thank you.
We're turning around
yeah.
during a moment here.
Wait, no, Pedro. We're missing an invisible jet as well.
Well, we're not seeing it, Jova.
Oh
are
God, I know what you're referencing now.
Shut up! I just realized what you were referencing.
Same.
I don't, and I feel like I don't.
Good, don't think about it.
The first one was Final Fantasy 13. The second one was Wonder Woman 1984.
And there we
Power
go.
of love finally frees us of the shell. There.
They tell me that they
Yes.
grab the book once they
We can't-
wake up and burn it.
But Hakim, we can't look at them. They vanished.
He didn't
There,
mean
we
that
kissed.
literally.
Will you? We kissed. Will you let us out now?
Actually,
No,
yes.
you have to let it collaborate more.
Actually, yes. After the loading screen.
One more look at Hakim.
Oh wow, that is it.
Oh Lord, I'm alive.
How much did I drink?
Yeah, are you starving or like you're dehydrated?
There we are. Just in time to stop Rose.
What's with that old ass PC monitor?
I don't know.
Surprising, you'd be surprised. They're still out there and being used by some people.
Also, I don't think the game ever specifically mentions like a time date nor shows the technology to suggest that it's in present day.
Cody,
May.
it worked.
I like that they believe it actually happened and didn't just chalk it up to some weird ass dream.
It's for the old school mentality that Hollywood had, the kind of whimsy moment where we don't believe it's a
And there you
dream.
go. This also means that they now have the full letter right there on the bed for them to read. So let's see what Rose's letter actually says. As long as Cody finds it. Come on, Cody. Look at the bed. There we go.
Hey. A letter.
Dear Mum and Dad, I'm sorry that I did this to you. I know how to make everything good again. All you have to do is stop fighting. I know I'm not a perfect daughter. Wait, what? I'm sorry I don't want to brush my teeth. I'm sorry I read books after bedtime. I'm sorry I don't put my toys where they should be. I know it's my fault you want a divorce.
She's blaming herself.
She thinks it's her fault.
This poor child.
Because you two didn't
That's actually
communicate
really
anything
sad
with
for-
her.
That's really depressing for a child to go through. To think that's wow.
Yeah, again, lots of therapy this
That's-
poor kid
that-
needs.
That's the whole idea. Now they're gonna go right after her and tell her that that's complete bullshit and that's not her fault at all. Don't worry.
There's somewhere to end the lollipop. Oh, no.
Yeah, there you go. After her.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
This idea of a child running away does remind me a bit of some kind of story tied to a Don Bluth movie, but I can't put my hand specifically on
Tron
what.
Central Park.
Maybe.
Technically the children do run away from home in that
I
movie.
was thinking more of a positive thing.
Wait.
though.
No.
No, they
The
go
kids
to
don't-
the park.
They don't
sneak
run
out
away
to go
from
to the
home.
park.
They just sneak out to go to the park. They weren't running away from home.
Without permission, though.
The protagonist
That's
of We're
not
Back
quite the same thing.
was running away from home, but that's besides the point now.
For your fault.
I guess there is technically All Dogs Go to Heaven too, which is connected to All Dogs.
No,
Go to
listen here.
Heaven.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to hear this.
Whatever happens, your mom and me, we will always be there.
Yeah, I actually like this line here. Like when she asks them if they're together again, and Cody's answer is, "Sweetie, you and your mom will always be there for you." Notice how he didn't give a straight answer. So wait till the end so I can talk about that.
Also, there, Doctor Hakim, there's where you
Oh,
stand.
remember. Remember.
To where you're going on.
Well, remember.
Put it on the
Well,
road so the bus gets him.
remember. It was Rose that bought
Goddamn.
Pick it
the.
up, Cody.
Well,
Don't pick it up. Don't pick it up. Don't pick it up. You fool. You fool.
Well, remember it was Rose that actually got the book. So technically,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
Rose's
In
book.
a trash can.
And now
Where
that,
it
Suddenly, that
belongs.
explains a lot.
Well, remember the idea.
and then Hakim can collaborate with the tires.
Come on. Let's go home.
I actually really like this final interaction here before we cut to the credits. Hold on.
So, Rose, if your mom had to fight an aggressive squirrel double
Yay.
You're right, actually. Yeah.
Aww.
Cody, I wish you were completely irrational. But I have to say, you make more sense now.
There you go. See, so the idea is that now they actually get along, but keep in mind it took two. But keep in mind,
Did it.
okay, keep in mind. Actually, the reason I really like that ending is notice how when she asks, "Are you two together again?" and Cody doesn't give a straight answer. He instead says, "Look, the important thing is you and your mom will always be will always be there for you when you need us." Yes, and then now that they get along and they even have a nice walk home together for the first time in this game, they actually are getting along and even having fun with the daughter and everything. So, but here's the thing: we don't know if this. Yes, they had that kiss at the end, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll stay together. Now, they might still split up. It's just that now that they actually can get along without arguing for more than 5 minutes.
Well, the elephant is fixed.
There you go. That's. I had already said that they were going to fix it, Shiro, before.
I know, but it's nice to see it.
Yeah. But I do like how, again, one of the big concerns people had going into this game was that it was going to demonize divorce. But I actually disagree with that because the way the ending does, like, it leaves it ambiguous in the sense that, okay, do they actually stay together or do they still divorce? Well, the game doesn't tell you which one because instead the important thing is that they can actually get along, meaning they can now have a good relationship with their daughter. Whether they stay together or not, that's a whole nother issue altogether. But I do like the fact that if you prefer for them to stay married, you can imagine that as your headcanon. If you would prefer for them to be divorced still, that can be your headcanon too. So I actually do like how they went about the ending, actually, to be fair. So I just wanted to talk about it. I actually really liked the direction of the ending. It leaves it in a way that the audience can have their own headcanon depending on what they think should be the correct course of action. So it is a nice way to end it. At least I think so. Alright. Dwebs, final thoughts, please.
Alright, I'll start with the gameplay first. The gameplay does look to be a lot more involved than it takes. A
way out.
Than a way out. I.e., there's more stuff to do, probably because of the more playful-ish setting.
And
as opposed to being a jailbreak in a gritty world.
Mm-hmm.
And the presentation is really good too, especially for a game of this budget.
Mhm.
Okay, and the music is decent too. The story though. Okay, it's that
Well,
bloody first
yeah.
half. Okay, I'm sorry, but that first half pretty
Sure.
much killed any interest I had in any of the three main characters. You know, Doctor Hakim, because he keeps getting in the way of shit when we're trying to do something, and yet he doesn't get in the way when we're trying to kill a freaking elephant.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And also the parents, the one that they constantly argue all the time. Actually, no, why do they argue all the time? They're just as bad as each other. Yeah, they think that they instantly.
So
jump
it's
to the
like,
conclusion, how do we get back to our daughter? I know, make her cry and sad.
Yeah.
Head of QV, Chris Carter. Wow, the head of the X-Files is in charge of QV. No wonder.
Yeah, in the meantime, checking through this credits, I get the idea there is no major, credits music-wise to suggest an orchestra. So yeah, it probably just was digital, only the audio.
Yeah. I mean, the second
Also
half...
QA testing. Wow.
Oh, let Dibs go on,
Sorry.
Dibs.
Okay, the second half is better. I.e., the parents aren't constantly arguing and the doctor isn't constantly annoying. And there are a few nice moments scattered throughout. Again, it's just that first half is what kills everything. I mean, imagine if in like the first half of the first Professor Layton game, Layton's acting like a total dickhead to everyone, and then all of a sudden he becomes a nice gentleman in the second half.
I could make a joke about that, but I won't.
Dick
Go on.
Layton redemption arc.
Yeah, that's the thing though, Tedgy. Dick Layton's a joke.
Alright. Go on.
But yeah, I mean, it's really such a shame. Ferris did such a good job with the storytelling in A Way Out, and that game was meant to be about arseholes. In fact, because that's the thing.
To them.
Two rough and gruff people trying to escape prison. Of course, that's going to be a bit rough. This game was about two parents trying to reconnect with each other and their child, and for the first half of the game, they're trying to deliberately upset their child so they'll get back to normal. And yet, when it doesn't work, they're not concerned about their child being upset. They're concerned their plan didn't work, and we're going to be stuck as dolls forever. Oh, shut up.
Translation in Italian done by Moloch Studios, and they also did the German translation. Moloch Studios.
No, I've never heard of them. Go on, Dave.
So yeah, that's yeah. I hate to sound. That's the thing though. I hate sounding like such a negative Nancy, especially considering the guy who made this game.
Well, to be fair, it is something we all agree that the story is probably the weaker point of it, which I'll get more to on the final part.
We all agree that the story is bad, was.
Yeah, it's just the same as from the. It's the same as from the guy who made a pretty good first.
Second,
first
more like, but
that we've done.
yeah. Sure. I understand.
Okay, hopefully.
Well, didn't you say like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons was also good, Pedro?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen that one, so I can't.
Well, remember, I was saying like he was briefly treating The Way Out as his first game, but it's the second game actually. But go on, Dwebs.
Well, it's the first one I've seen.
Sure. Go on.
So yeah, this game is one of this game is called It Takes Two because it's a tale of two halves. One half really good gameplay, the other half kind of crap story. And there you go.
Sure.
Well, this was a ride. I'll actually start with the negatives. This one, I'll be relatively quick with it. There is the first half, of course, not just the elephant stuff. I think we said, just about enough about that anyway, but it's more so how long it took. It should have been shorter. And honestly, I'm not against the idea of, what they did with the elephant, but I think the story was told in a very weird order, because I think that should have been the first thing they did, or at least one of the first things they did. They should have started with the extreme, so then Hakim is like, okay, you two really need to cool down your shit. It would have made a lot more sense instead of sticking it in the
In the
in the middle
middle.
of the game. And again, I'm not actually against the idea, but there's also the fact that because it came in the middle, it's also just this random bit of dark humor which doesn't really appear in the rest of the game at all. And that's all for that anyway. The second half is definitely a lot better. But anyway, Hakim is annoying, but he does get better, and like I'm okay with that. But I get why it's too little, too late for some. Honestly, like the negatives that I have with this are actually quite big, but they're few.
I guess it is that bout where you do have to weigh what is heavier. A few negatives, albeit very big ones, even though they're few, their weight is heavy, against, some, the more plentiful, but potentially outweighed positives in that regard here and there.
Oh yeah, the positives are many, like definitely.
Yes.
The only other thing I have to really say about the second half is, and you could probably tell within the last few parts of this, but the build-up didn't really feel there. Like it felt like we were still in what could have been the middle of the game, and it's like, oh, we're near the end already. My gosh.
And it's like I said, it feels weird that the final task was something that was mainly focusing on May as opposed to both of them equally.
Yeah, it was a nice moment, definitely, but it would have been nice to have one more, little chapter where they, just go through something together, Yeah.
And like, I think the best way to put it, this feels like if you ended an anime arc on a slice of life thing. And I don't mean like, well, oh, it's the calm after the storm. I mean like, oh, you're expecting the final boss fight with the ultimate evil overlord? Nah, just have a happy picnic and that's pretty much the end kind of weird ending.
Mm-hmm. But that's it really. The rest of this is just great. The music, I want to give it a proper listen on my own time. The presentation is amazing. Like I love the variety here, not just in the references, but just like everything. Like aesthetically, it's cool. Like this game looks really nice, and like based on what we've seen, like it does look fun to play. I do understand if you can't get past the whole elephant stuff, because that's definitely going to rub people the wrong way. Like certain people the wrong way. It's your mileage may vary, but I would still consider picking this up. Like definitely.
Like if
I would
just for the co-op experience alone, I can tell it's worth it.
Yeah, I would like to try this at some point. Maybe not in the immediate future, but yeah. Oh,
who would you play it with?
Alice.
Alice, of course.
I don't know who else I'd play it with.
Well, that's the thing. You told me in part 4, I think, or was it that Alice is not into these kinds of games, platformers. I mean.
But she would play, she wouldn't play it on her own, but she would play it with me.
Ah, okay.
I've mentioned before that we have very different tastes in games, but multiplayer stuff is something we do try to find to play together. So things like Mario Party and just like any kind of co-op thing or party game that we can pick up. So this is something that we would pick up on. So.
Sure.
But yeah, not sure what else to say. This is just.
Well, okay. Do you think this? Okay, putting everything all the elements together. Do you think this is still a good game?
Yes.
All right then.
Like that's there's no question about that. It's just. It would be that the story could have been better with how they portrayed the parents, and I also like the ending, like that they didn't flat out say what's happened. Personally, I'm more in the camp of they still get divorced because, there's a lot that leads up to a divorce, so there could have been just too much water under that bridge. So yeah. That's what I would have liked to have seen happen anyway. It's like, yeah, they can get along and, they can collaborate, but
just differently.
They can't be together anymore. That's fine. Yeah. It's like they're able to get along for the sake of Rose. And yeah, I've said it a few times throughout this, but I wish Rose was focused on a bit more. And seeing the ending, I'm a little less annoyed about the lack of Rose, because the ending feels like seeing everything. It's you really got.
I'm sorry. I was wondering
No, what did you say?
I was wondering if you found it like over dramatic, the bit with Rose, and that's why
No,
you felt...
no, not that. It's more like maybe they didn't put enough focus on her because, you know, that's where Cody and May are at right now. They're so focused in their own bullshit that, yeah, they are not paying attention to their daughter. So, yeah, having all of the gameplay and such pretty much entirely away from her makes, you know, a lot more sense. You know, we had her running away and everything, so I'm definitely less annoyed by that particular plot thing. And I think that's it. It's rocky, but I think it's still very good, and I just hope that Joseph can blend gameplay and story a bit better in the future, because we know he can do both.
Yeah.
Like, they just need to be at the same time, you know?
Well,
These things need to collaborate, Joseph.
Well, he did that in No Way Out, Shiroi. It's just that, like, honestly, I wouldn't even say the problem here is necessarily the correlation between story and gameplay. It's the writing that's the problem.
But yeah, that's it. Overall good with some, you know, rocky moments.
Dej.
Well, this game looks a lot of fun, and I really want to play it because, oh my god, all the cool ideas this game manages to surprise me. Every time they do something, like, wow. You can tell that Joseph really loves video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The story, I feel like it could have been polished a bit better. Because I get it, dude. I get it with Shiroi and Dwibs' issue is like, yes, they're supposed to be unlikable from the start because bickering couple and whatnot. But I feel like you also need to have some likable qualities to be interested in where they're going.
Yeah.
Because it's like them trying to be like, okay, maybe we can make our daughter sad, and it turns out no, that's not how it works. I'm fine with that because it's like, yes, they're idiots and they're completely too caught up on their own ego to be completely oblivious. Like a couple of rewrites here and there, it could have been better. The ending is nice because it's like, yeah, you're not getting together, but you want to know, okay, where they end up. Because now they're finally understanding each other. Because I was... God damn it, sure. Because that was just an issue that I know people have with how long the game drags on. But yeah, overall, I'm satisfied. Can't wait to play it.
All right.
Who are you going to play it with?
Jova.
Yeah, I think I'll start off with the negatives. Just so I can point out something no one else has. My issue with the story isn't, again, what it wants to do, and well, okay, I do have an issue of how it goes about doing it. But yeah, It is more so, I think the recurring issue I have with the game's story is like, well, it acts like it's saying deep things when most of the time it really isn't. Like, I feel like, again, if you want to talk about an issue and have us take it seriously, because there's one thing that's clear, the game does want us to take the whole thing with divorce seriously, story-wise. You need to have better substance and foundation to that writing.
Yep.
Which, again, the pillars are the problem here. For one, we don't get to see enough of Rose. You could argue that's the point, because we're supposed to see it from the parents' perspective. But I'd argue that that's kind of a weakness, because it feels like it just trivializes Rose more as a plot device more than anything, to a point where I did kind of feel like the ending bit with her running away felt a bit over dramatic because, well, I do feel like we could have seen more from Rose's perspective on how we got to this point. Like, again, I feel like a story about something like divorce does require seeing things from all angles, or at least enough of an angle so that we get a full picture. I never really did feel like we got to know these characters well enough to that degree. I will say this, though, unlike most others, my headcanon is that they did get back together. Not because I think, oh, it's cute that they get back together, but it does actually feel like the journey would have pounded into their heads how, maybe they missed the mark here and there. And with them learning these lessons, I do get the feeling that they're willing to give it another chance, if only for Rose's sake, and, maybe make it work. And even if it doesn't work, they'll at least know a better way to go about splitting them beforehand. So yeah, I guess the whole them being ambiguous thing about it was nice. Although, I will admit, with the kiss thing, I don't feel like it leaves as much to the imagination and stuff. Like, and I get it, some people might say, oh, you see people kissing, you automatically think they're getting together. No, I don't. But it really does feel like the game was pushing more towards them getting back together, if only for, the sake of everything they've learned, and also for Rose's sanity in that regard here and there. It is nice that they'll be there for her.
I think what they're going for is that, for example, after the kiss, they even have Doctor Hakim going, love heals all and everything. My guess is they're going for the whole, even though they do have feelings for each other, that doesn't necessarily mean they would make a good couple. So maybe it's still maybe a good idea to split, because there is actually a thing. So maybe that's what you can take from it, probably.
I still do feel like it's leaning more towards them getting back together. Not forcefully so, which is kind of ironic given what I want to segue to next about the story. Dr. Hakim. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Dr. Hakim feels like that joke that your friend constantly tells you and hopes that you find it funny. But you don't. I get that Yosef wants us to feel endeared with Dr. Hakim, but I'm going to be honest, even in his more good moments, I just felt more annoyed and was always cringing whenever he showed up because, he's annoying. Just plain and simple. I feel like you could have come up with a better therapy character in the sense of, sure, maybe he acts annoying because the characters are just as dumb and he used to reflect that. But no, even when they do get better, he kind of feels like he's just as annoying still in that regard. To the point where, we were all calling for them to just burn and trample the book by the end instead of saying, oh, it's so nice. And is it any shock you found that book in the trash can? Jesus. That really... What?
No, it would have been hilarious with the parents the trash can, really? Interesting. Cuts to them throwing it into the trash.
I mean, it'd be a perfect bookend in that regard.
Bookend.
But again, I feel like the biggest problem is it's because the story, despite all the wacky hijinks going on in the magical world, the whole bout of divorce is something that the story does want us to take seriously, but it doesn't have anything groundbreaking to say. And you know what? Forget being groundbreaking. It doesn't feel like it has much stuff of substance to say. It's more like your typical, oh, this changed, that changed, we were like this and that. And even still, the whole repeating of collaborate thing. Again, it feels like the story for most of its own section forgets the nuances of divorce and the multiple reasons for it. And it feels more like ironically, a simplified glory trip of it. I mean, sure, we do get the better second half, but I will admit the second half does run the risk of being too little too late story-wise here because, holy hell, the ending of that first half pretty much burns away a lot of goodwill and, yes, does cement the heroes as, designated heroes as TV tropes would put them. Heroes that are really only the heroes because you're forced to control them here and there. And it's they are really stupid and honestly terrible. I get divorce and all, but you honestly think making your child cry and bathing in her tears while you laugh was going to turn out good for you? Oh boy. Yeah, we had enough time ripping that scene apart, and I get it that Joseph wanted it to come off as some funny, dark comedy stuff. Did not work for me. And from what I've heard, it didn't work for a lot of people. Yes, it did work for some as well and good for them, but I'm not surprised that a lot of people did put the game down around that point. But, that being said, with all the negatives out of the way, if there is one reason to power through this game, I will say it's, well, of course, the gameplay. Because holy cow, look, even when some gimmicks do feel like they wear on their welcome, they still are fun at the base here and there. Again, this does feel like one of the best celebrations of video gaming since Smash Bros. Ultimate in regards to the level styles, gameplay maneuvers, and gameplay functions that this game picks up on here and there. The collaboration elements are actually very well tied together and help beefing up the game too. And the fights can be very interesting, which is, again, kind of why I was a bit disappointed that we ended off on the music challenge. Again, it felt like we could have had a much more bombastic ending that does lead to a proper finale. But hey, no harm, no foul in that reason. The visuals and music are very charming and glorious. The voice acting is on point. Yeah. It is one of those cases where I feel like, honestly, the worst element is the story. I think the only somewhat negative thing I may have about the gameplay is that, maybe some levels wear out their welcome with the pacing bits. And like I mentioned, the second half, while being the better half, story-wise, does get also a bit weird pacing-wise with the gameplay, too. Regardless, though, it still is top-notch fun. Again, I'm not saying you absolutely need to buy this because that story can be a real big turnoff, but if you're in it for the gameplay, then play it to win it.
Teo.
Oh, right, sure. I'm fine with it for the most part, and I'm talking just for the plot because the gameplay is perfectly fine to me. The only problem that I may have is that, again, some sections may drag a bit more compared to others, and others feel conversely shorter than we need to. And I do believe we're kind of missing, like I mentioned, I do believe we're kind of missing a bit at the end, because I generally believe that the concert of it was just to get the 4 part, and then there was going to be a small epilogue that would transition to the real world. But instead, we get the concert, May sings for 2 seconds or something, and then they kiss. Okay.
I wonder, was this game rushed at the last minute, and they had to
wouldn't
cut some
surprise
content?
me if the last level was cobbled together a bit more hastily than the others. Then again, for all we know, like Peter mentioned, these levels were conceptualized early on, and just the order in which they decided to be put was done later. For all the music level was gonna be the second or something. Okay, I think I've mentioned enough about the gameplay when we doing the actual parts. I like pretty much most of the gameplay styles. Like I just mentioned, some of them might gonna be too long, like the space one, but overall they're pretty solid and they give very interesting experience. And again, the level design is super imaginative, and I honestly wish this is gonna be the go-to thought process for all future games, because sure, Way Out was nice, and all, but it was very grounded in reality through pretty much most of them. There wasn't any particular supernatural or creative stuff. This is something else entirely, and I think this should be the base for future projects, because again, imagination is your limit, so please take advantage of that instead of telling real life. But so from a gameplay purpose, it's again even more better than A Way Out has ever been, and I have no other major complaints. At worst, it's just redundant, but that's not even a complaint on its own. It's just an observation and something that it's easily subjective. So the game instead is the solid part of the game. I do believe it allows some replayability value. You get to play with different people, experiment different things, not just your loved one, but again, even the online experience if you want. So there's that. As for the plot, it's more the execution than anything. I think we ranted enough, all of us, about it. On all the elements, just are just bad in execution, but on a paper, I think they're fine. Like I mentioned in one of the early parts, I think I'm not the kind of person that can give a fair enough judgment when it comes to the topic of divorce. Not having a family that has experienced it, while people certainly did have. And I've seen opinions on the internet of people who had divorced parents that even with the ambiguous situation, they thought the game, was a bit too saccharine, handling the subject. And I guess I can see where they're coming from. I personally enjoyed, for the most part, the ride in terms of, again, jumping from locale to locale. But I have to admit, the first half goes way too long. If it was short enough and on point, honestly, would have been perfectly fine, even with Cody and May being absolute bastards, but unfortunately, it's the length problem, probably tied to the level design. The level design, has enough length, but the result, the story is to compensate by having the character, feeling what the character's, behavior is and what Doctor Hakim input is, which, again, the major problem with Doctor Hakim is the fact that the first half is so passive. That's the main problem. It's not just the obnoxious part. He's so passive. He's just about, cooperation. Like it's fucking Kingdom Hearts. He has to repeat passwords to make us convinced they will fix things. He only starts actually trying to do something right before the Diablo clone level, where he tries to impede, Cody and May to reach the elephant. That's the only thing that he does before tragedy actually strikes, and then he actually intervenes. The revelation that it was a book that the daughter picked out of the trash might be a throwaway, kind of joke to symbolize the fact that it wasn't exactly the best kind of solution that the couple may have. But, I can see when someone like Vives may be going for that is a breaking point.
You also raise a good point about how some transitions did feel less cohesive than others.
Well, I don't particularly have a problem with that. As long as the gameplay is good, I don't mind. But I've seen worse plots, to be honest, and I don't think this is a bad plot in itself, but it's hard to digest. That is unequivocally true. Like, if you even so much care about these characters, you will actually have to digest this bit. So, if you can during the experience, well, it goes, all the better from that point onward. Even if it's not as super developed as, like I mentioned, as one may want to, on that front, just that extra pinch would work better. The last moment with the daughter is actually nice. I'm not sure what my headcanon can be of that, but I gotta be honest, the game feels to me like it wants to propend with the idea that we get together. Not immediately. It might be a compromise of a thing of, but we'll take a moment to think for ourselves and, just split up without proper divorce, and ultimately, get together because, again, we realize what each other lacked potentially from the other. Because that's, for all his pontification, again, Dr. Kim does have a point, the idea that in a couple, one strengths replenish the other weaknesses, So I guess that's the closest we get to my headcanon. Third option, I know it's a cop-out.
So the third option is they do neither?
More in a sense that it's more gray than it apparent. I'm not really into radical solutions for this kind of thing, Jova. But I do appreciate the emotional punch that gives to the daughter, especially considering how she's treated more like of a prize for most of the game. At the very least, they try to make the situation more, gut wrenching also for the player. I appreciate that they did that. So yeah, overall it is pretty much of a mess, but it's still a very enjoyable mess. And on a gameplay standalone, it's pretty much enough fine for you. It's just a matter of how much do you want to stomach some of more harder parts. I don't like food analogies, but I guess it can fit for this, I suppose. Pedro.
No, I'll just go for the bullet points because I think we've all talked about it. The first half of the story is kind of a shit show. The second half is much better, but it is kind of hard to really make this entire thing work as a whole. So yeah, like the story. However, if you're one of those who can enjoy gameplay alone, and even if the story is bad, this is definitely something that I definitely recommend for the co-op experience alone, because the co-op experience alone is more than worth the price of entry, because the game is incredibly fun all the way through. And it's incredibly creative, like Deji said, and like Ariel said, the music and the graphics are pretty much fantastic, especially when you consider the fact that this is a budget release. So $40. It costs the same as Sonic Forces, for the record. So yeah, I actually really like the game a lot. It's a flawed game, but I can definitely see what Joseph was trying to accomplish here. He just was flawed in the execution this time, but that's fine. That's fine. Not every game he makes is going to be a masterpiece, so that's fine by me. Still looking forward to see what he comes up with next, because this studio is a beacon of great creativity and earnestness. So definitely looking forward to see what comes next from this team. So that's it. That was It Takes Two. I hope you enjoyed it. See you for whatever Ferris makes next. Or maybe yeah. That's probably going to be a while. So eventually we're going to go through Brothers of Tale of Two Sons. Why not? See you then.
Yeah.
See ya.